When the HOA called the cops on me for trespassing on my own land, they thought they'd won. But what they didn't know was that the man they tried to humiliate, the man they called a problem, is the same judge who signs their court orders. I moved into Maple Ridge Estates last spring, small-town America, white fences, quiet lawns, and an HOA that thought it was the Supreme Court. I bought 5 acres at the edge of the neighborhood, legally mine, deed in hand, taxes paid in full. But the HOA didn't like my gravel driveway or my old farmhouse style. They said it didn't match community standards. At first, I ignored them. Then one morning, I found bright red "No trespassing" signs nailed across my gate, with my name scratched out. A few hours later, 2 police cars pulled up my driveway. The officer stepped out, looking awkward. "Sir," he said, "we got a complaint from the HOA. They're saying you're trespassing on private property." I just smiled. "Private property?" I said. "That's funny, because this private property belongs to me." The HOA president, a sharp-tongued woman in a designer jacket, stormed up behind him. "This is community-owned land," she barked. "We voted on it. You don't belong here." I could have argued. I could have yelled. But instead, I handed the officer a card and said calmly, "Tell them I'll see them soon. In court." 3 days later, they walked into that court, not as rulers of the neighborhood, but as defendants. I sat at the bench, in full robe, gavel resting beside me. When they saw me, their faces froze. The same woman who called the cops whispered, "Oh my God!" I opened the file slowly, flipped to the deed, and read their own signatures approving my land purchase. Then, in front of the entire courtroom, I said, "Not only does this man own the property, but this HOA has violated state property law, trespassed, and harassed a legal landowner." Silence. You could hear the air conditioner hum. Then I passed judgment. The HOA of Maple Ridge is hereby fined $250,000. Their board is dissolved effective immediately. The gavel hit the block. Bang. A month later, the signs were gone. The calls stopped. And the woman who tried to get me arrested? She resigned, sold her home, and left town quietly. Now, every morning, I walk my land with a cup of coffee and a smile. The same neighbors who once looked down their noses now wave with respect, because they finally know who I am. And every time I pass that old oak tree, I think about that day, the day the HOA tried to call the law on me, not knowing I am the law. So next time someone tries to take what's yours, remember, truth doesn't need to shout. Sometimes, it just walks into court wearing a black robe.